Hi everyone, this is Curtis, and in this tutorial I am going to show you how to configure actions in Streamie associated with ONVIF events from your cameras. In other words, we're going to make Streamie do things based on motion. Cameras have a variety of event capabilities, and not all of them are the same. The camera we're going to demo with supports smart motion detection, which lets it distinguish between people, vehicles, and shadows, for instance, so we don't get a bunch of false positives. The actions we're going to associate with these events include announcing a custom message, playing a sound, logging in an event that also includes a message, a snapshot, and a recording from the camera, as well as the ability to save a snapshot or recording directly to your iCloud photo album. And we'll look at each of those in detail in a moment. Before we get started, you need to have already configured your ONVIF compatible camera in Streamie. We have another video that shows you exactly how to do that. And for the system to work, you need to have a device, an iPhone, iPad, or Apple TV, that can run Streamie and stream the camera to monitor for these events whenever you want these actions to occur. To get started, we need to teach Streamie the capabilities of your camera. And so what you need to do once you've configured your camera and added it to Streamie is simply start streaming the camera. Then you need to make the camera generate these events. So for instance, if your camera supports smart motion detection and you have a rule set up for people detection, then you need to go out into your driveway and run around and wave at your camera to generate that event while Streamie is streaming the camera, and then Streamie will learn that your camera is capable of generating motion events. Once you've done that, and I've already done that, then you can stop streaming the camera and edit the camera by swiping left on it. We'll scroll down to the actions section where I already have actions defined. I'm going to delete those really fast. And we can tap on Add Action. And in this case, Streamie knows of two possible messages, or one message with two possible states is inside equals true and false, meaning the action has started versus the action has stopped. And we can see what that looks like on the camera side right here. You can see I've defined this rule named IVS1, and Streamie knows of that same rule right here. So I can define a set of rules on my camera, and Streamie will learn that same set of rules as those events are generated the first time. So in this case, I'm going to create a rule with this message. And here are the 5 actions that I mentioned before. We can speak text, you type in a message. You can play a sound, where you can select one of the built-in sounds. You can log an event, and this would include a snapshot and a recording, as well as whatever message you typed in, where we can save a snapshot and a recording directly to the local storage on your device that will go into your iCloud photo album. So the purposes of this demonstration, we're just going to log an event, motion in driveway, and we're going to tell it that I only want events logged when I'm in away mode, and modes are something that you can define over in the account tab right here. You can create whatever set of modes that you want and turn them on and off as you please, and then associate those modes with these actions. So again, this action will only work when the away mode is activated. And I don't want all of my devices to do this, but I do want the Apple TV in my office and my iPad to both be willing to generate these events. So I'm going to choose those two. And there's a lot of motion going on in the driveway. I really don't want to know about it very often, so I'm going to set a timeout of 5 minutes and save it. And so we have our first action right here and a description at the bottom of what that action does. And I'm going to quickly add one more action using the same event. And this one is going to speak the text, motion in driveway. And I'm going to have it do it all the time. It won't be associated with any of these modes, so it won't be limited. And I'm going to choose this same set of devices to do that. And I'll let this happen more often. And we'll save that. So now we've got our 2 actions for this camera setup, and all we need to do is save. And you'll see that 2 badge in the bottom right corner of the driveway camera, indicating there are 2 actions associated with this camera. Then if you flip over to your events tab after you've generated an event, it will appear over here. So for instance, earlier today, there is a driveway motion detected event, and we can scroll down here and hit play. And in this case, we can see a young man getting paid 25 cents to bring in the trash cans. and he's taking a very circuitous route to the trash cans, as is his prerogative. And then if you want to, for instance, share this recording with somebody, you can airdrop it, text it, save it, email it, whatever you want, or delete the event. And if we scroll down further, you can see some details about the event and the files associated with it. Finally, you can swipe on it to delete it, or you can filter if you want to see just driveway events. We can do that. You can see all of the events that have been generated by that camera using the rule that using the rules that you'll define. And I'm just going to clear that filter really fast, go back and see all of our events. Anyway, in order for this to work, of course, as I mentioned before, you need a device that is actively streaming the camera that can then monitor for these events and then execute those actions. And that device needs to be one of the devices that you've added here, right here. In this case, my Office Apple TV and my iPad. Anyway, if you've got that working, everything should be fine. But if you run into any problems, feel free to reach out to us. Thanks.